But soon enough, you will come to understand that what happened to you was a blessing in disguise. And so I want to say this to you now from the bottom of my heart, so that when we meet face to face again, it doesn't have to be said. Rey Mysterio, you're welcome.
What's going on, YouTube? It's Sensei and place to be chilling with Mr. A&E. Better give you guys another Raw review for May 18th, 2020. Before I start off this Raw review, my heart, my condolences. I don't even like saying condolences at the complete moment, but my prayers and everything are going with Shad's family. For those who don't know, Shad Gasper, who was the member, one of the members of Crime Time, was out with his family at Venice Beach, and him and his son were caught in a riptide, and then the lifeguards kind of to save him. He told him to go save his son. Another wave hit him, and they haven't seen him since, so he is declared missing. So that was yesterday at around 4 p.m. They have not found him since, and usually that's not a good sign, especially when somebody is lost at sea, you know, as they call it, or they're just lost in the water and stuff like that. So it's very heartbreaking on what happened, and I'm, you know, obviously you kind of can expect of what happened, but the thing is, I'm not going to make any type of statement until something is confirmed or they call off the search like that. So like I said, it's very heartbreaking. I want to make sure I address that first in the beginning of this review, because it's very devastating. It's very devastating. And like I said, more news may come up by the time you guys are watching this review, but just in case it doesn't, I'm just letting you guys know right now that I just wanted to bring this up right now. Very sad news. My heart and prayers go out to his family and his 10-year-old son. It really does. So we kick off Monday Night Raw tonight with Randy Orton coming down to the ring, and Charlie Caruso's in the ring, and she says, do you want to, you know, explain for people who don't understand, you know, about what you called out Edge for last week? And Orton said, just like I felt, as though what the straight up wrestling match not do people not understand. It's a straight up wrestling match that he wants at Backlash, but you know, when he asked, he said, this is what we do here. It's called World Wrestling Entertainment. The wrestling is the catalyst of what we do here. But last week when I asked Edge, he said that I seen doubt. He said, you talk about that grit, you talk about that passion, but what I seen was doubt. Then Edge comes out, and Edge comes there, and he cuts a promo saying, you know, you're playing a game of chess, so I don't just rush into my next move. And then he said, but you know, you're calling it doubt, but you know, he still got the grit, he still got the passion, and he throws back in Randy's face that, you know, you were handed this job. You know, this was your backup plan. You weren't sitting in the audience and, you know, had a dream and, you know, do all this artwork and everything to be a professional wrestler. This was my dream. You didn't have to work 9 years to come back. So honestly, in my personal opinion, Edge is very passionate what he's saying, but Edge kind of sounds redundant. And Orton was just like, okay, look, you know, saying, are you done? Are you? And he says, no, you shut up. And he kept going with the passion promo. So he said, yes, he accepts his challenge at Backlash. And I understand Charlie Cruz is being fed these lines, but they keep talking about the greatest wrestling match ever. Said no one ever, with Edge and Randy Orton in the in the match. Now Edge did bring up that he beat Randy Orton for the Intercontinental Championship and how he felt, and he cried when he got it because he was the workhorse of that championship. But look, I love Randy Orton. Randy Orton is in my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. I like Edge. He's not in my top 10, but I like Edge. But when they get together, it's something about their wrestling matches that does not scream best ever, and it never will. That's fine. There are certain people that you can't put together that's not, it's going to make the great, like this. There's no way I'm putting Mankind versus Kurt Angle it's never going to be the greatest wrestling match of all time. It could be a good match. It could even be a great match, but they will just never have the like a classic, in my personal opinion. There's just certain people that just don't mix well. JBL and Batista, or but yeah, no, I'm gonna put JBL, King Booker and Batista. Booker T is one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time, and I like Batista. Now, if Batista will probably be in like my top 15 probably of wrestlers. So, but I like both of them. They had great matches. The best of 7 series is led by Booker T and Voldemort. They set the precedent for what a best of 7 series should look like. Booker T is an excellent wrestler. Batista came into his own. Look at the match he had with Undertaker at WrestleMania 23. They tore the house down. But Booker T and Batista, they just don't gel well at all. So all their matches have not been that great. They've been okay, but they ain't been that great. That's how I feel about Edge and Randy Orton at this point. So that right there, I was like, I hate when they keep selling this as the best wrestling match that's going to happen. Seth Rollins comes down, and now he's in a suit. He got his hair all pulled back. Murphy's there. I like how Murphy got like the church glass on his arm for his attire and stuff. And he walks down and he says, he has to address the issue with Rey Mysterio. And some say that, what he did to Rey Mysterio was unjust, or some may say that it was needed because he doesn't believe in the Messiah. But he said, he felt as though it was unfortunate but needed. He reached the lowest of lows. Sometimes you had to reach the lowest of lows to get to where you need to go. And when Drew McIntyre beat him, he reached one of the lowest of lows, and he had to do it. Rey Mysterio had to be that sacrifice to get him where he needed to be. And then he says, Rey Mysterio, this is directly right to you. So when you come back and you see me, you can just, what I will say this now, so it doesn't need to be said again. And he said, you're welcome. So, good heel promo. Like I said, I am feeling everything about the Monday Night Messiah character of Seth Rollins. The only thing I probably don't like is the music, because I do miss the burn it down. I do, but that is a more face, obviously, Seth Rollins. So, it's Monday Night Messiah music I'm cool with. Humberto Carrillo comes down, and he does not like the disrespect to one of his heroes in Rey Mysterio. But then Seth Rollins says, well, look, I'm not prepared to wrestle. Look at me, I'm in a suit, but my disciple here, so now he's actually using the word disciple, is ready to wrestle. And he has a match with Aleister Black tonight, but he'll take on Humberto. So we get an impromptu match of Humberto Carrillo versus Murphy. Murphy wins the matchup, and that's basically that. We get a backstage promo. Liv Morgan, she's sitting back there. She's kind of like tearing up, and she's talking about her mom and how her mom had determination and how she takes after her mom. All that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, where is this leading to? Is it leading to anything? Probably leading to nothing. But yeah, that's what she talks about, her mom and her determination, and how, did she beat Charlotte last week? And no, she did not. But she felt, after the match, she felt the same thing her mom did, and that was determination, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, we'll see where this is going. Charlotte comes out, and Charlotte cuts the promo she's been cutting for the same past week. Is like, I'm gonna call another superstar out that's been, calling me out my name and teaching me a lesson, basically. So this week, it's the flavor of the week. It's Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott comes out. She says, you want something to tell me? Tell me, Ruby. So her and Ruby have a match. The match is pretty good. Ultimately, Ruby taps out to the figure 8 submission hold. So that's all she wrote for Ruby Riott after that. Then we get to the Asuka Championship celebration. Kairi Sane comes out. She comes out with a flute. I don't know the exact name for the Japanese flute that she was using, but she out there, she was celebrating Asuka. She brought Asuka out. She talked about how Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion, the SmackDown Women's Champion, the NXT Champion, and she was a Royal Rumble winner, and she's a Money in the Bank winner also. And she was a tag team champion. Asuka has been one of the most decorated and successful women in WWE, period. And you know what? Like, she's a Hall of Famer already. Already, she's a Hall of Famer. So, she's very decorated. Asuka comes out, hugs Kyrie and everything. But somebody wants to crash the party. It's Nia Jax. And Nia Jax comes to crash the party. And I didn't really get to see the rest of the segment. But that was pretty much it. Later on, we're about to set up for a tag team match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross taking on the Iconic. So we get the match between the Iconics and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. There was a couple close calls here where Peyton Royce and Nikki Cross go to the outside of the ring. And then Billie Kay trying to punch Alexa Bliss, but she hits her with the forearm. Then hits the Twisted Bliss on Billie Kay. Peyton Royce breaks up the count, but then it looks like the ref disqualifies the Iconics because Peyton Royce wasn't the legal man and she was in there too long and beat up Alexa Bliss. I'm not liking this rule because I know people were saying this is like the Vince McMahon rule, and he's very adamant about this happening. I'm like, but I don't remember seeing this happen this often back in the day. I really don't. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, when I say back in the day, I don't mean add to there. I'm just meaning like, I don't know, 2 years ago, last year. I don't remember seeing that too much, but maybe if I had to go back and actually study, I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. So backstage, Billie Kay is kind of upset Peyton Royce, and they argue for a little bit, and then Billie Kay slaps her. And it's like all about to reality because Billie Kay starts apologizing immediately, and they start crying, and they all hug and everything like that. So it was kind of a bummer that the Iconics, was missed for 7 months. They come back to lose to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, which is a team that I have always said that I do not like. So we're going to see what's curious what's going to happen with the Iconics leading up to there. R-Truth is taking on Bobby Lashley because of how Bobby Lashley kind of manhandled R-Truth last time. He wasn't even ready for Bobby Lashley. So, but first, before we get into Bobby Lashley business, he wants to let Tom Brady know that he will sack him to get back his 24/7, 48/7, 7-Eleven, I-95, I don't know all the rest of it, championship belt, even though Gronkowski's the one that has the belt. But it will be funny if Tom Brady beats Gronkowski for the 24/7 championship, and then R-Truth beats Tom Brady for the championship. Oh my God, I will die laughing. That would be like Tom Brady's first loss. So, in a while, I mean, he just lost not too long ago. I'm just saying, that's what it would be like. So, hey, I'm just saying, whatever they plan on doing that, whatever. But then R-Truth brings back the Pretty Ricky stuff. Why does he do that? So Lashley's out there, and Lashley, he goes to the outside, he slams R-Truth to the barricade, brings him in, he's just manhandling this guy, hits him with a full Nelson slam, and puts him in the full Nelson, and then R-Truth taps out. So Bobby Lashley, as big of a man as he is, using the full Nelson, I'm not mad at that by no means. Backstage, we see Asuka and Kairi Sane go their separate ways, and then Nia Jax comes, attacks Kairi Sane, throws her into like this steel chest or something like that, and then there's ice on the shoulder. Then Asuka's asking what's wrong, but then they say, Nia attacked her. She gets all mad mood, goes, finds Nia, steps to her face, and Nia just kind of walks past her. She grabs her by a braid, then kicks Nia right in the face. So it looks like Nia is going to be the first opponent for Asuka when it comes to the Raw Women's Championship, probably at Backlash. They've had this rivalry before in NXT, but Asuka prevailed. So I don't see why Asuka won't prevail again. Submission match between Shayna Baszler and Natalya, because this is what the doctor ordered. It's not much going on to it. Natalya tries to go for the sharpshooter, but then Shayna Baszler reverses it, hits the caribou to clutch, and then as Natty is trying to reach for the rope, she takes her leg and wraps her arm around, and then Natty just taps out on her thigh, and Shayna Baszler wins the match. Natty's pissed about it, and she's still in the ring after the commercial break, and they're clearly about to set up for the Kevin Owens show. This is the stuff that happens when you got, like, if you've never been to a WWE show, when the commercial happens and I see the guys come out with the rugs and the chairs, stuff like that, to set up for the next segment. He do it really quick. So now they kind of like brought it in a little bit earlier to show them doing it. And then they bring the rug, and Natalya starts kicking the rug. She starts having a little tantrum again, starts destroying the whole set of the Kevin Owens show before the Kevin Owens show is up next. So Kevin Owens is back. First time we've seen Kevin Owens back since WrestleMania. And then there's no set, but on his show he has Andrade, he has Angel Garza, and he has Austin Theory, of course, with Selena Vega. So that Selena Vega is talking, saying, you don't even have the respect to be in the ring to talk to your guests. And he says, well, one would argue I am giving you most respect because I'm giving you the whole ring. But I'm not getting in that ring right now because we got more people coming out to the show, and I want to introduce Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews is back from his knee injury, quotation marks is going up, goes and attacks, he sprints to the ring, attacks Andrade and attacks him onto the outside, and now we get ourselves an impromptu tag team match player. We get Angel Garza and Andrade taking on Kevin Owens and Apollo Crews. Good tag team matchup right here. Apollo Crews is really getting some good heat behind him. I'm really curious to see where this is going to go, though, because they try to push Apollo Crews, and then next thing you know, they just drop him. But that man is very talented. You got to do something with him. So, Apollo Crews, Angel Garza's in the ring. He tries to throw Apollo to the ropes. He gets out the way. Austin Theory accidentally hits Angel Garza with a forearm. Then Apollo Crews hits his spin-out powerbomb, wins the matchup. After the match, they're pissed. So they start beating up Austin Theory. Austin Theory has been kicked out the group. Andrade and Angel Garza beat up Austin Theory. So now and they just beat him down, which leaves Austin Theory to the outside. Next match, we see Aleister Black taking on Murphy. So Murphy's second time in the ring tonight, and the match is rekindling their rivalry. Murphy and Aleister Black got some very good chemistry, but this match really didn't get started because on the outside, Austin Theory is still out there, and then Seth Rollins is just staring at him. Then he offers him the black hand and picks him up. So then we see Aleister Black and Murphy in the ring. Aleister Black goes for his black mass kick to Murphy, and then, well, before you can do that, Angel Garza comes in and starts beating up Aleister Black, which causes a disqualification. So they just beat him down. Aleister Black tries to fight back, but then Murphy and Austin Theory attack him, and now Seth Rollins gives Austin Theory a hug. It looks like we have a new disciple. I think Austin Theory fits better with the disciples opposed to what's going on with Garza and Andrade. Just saying. So let's see how that stuff kind of works out. Now, throughout the whole night, we be getting these little videos and snippets of the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders, but I wanted to put it all in one thing. So last week, we seen that the Street Profits beat the Viking Raiders in basketball, but then the Viking Raiders showed them that they can know how to play basketball too. They let them win. So this week, we get axe throwing. So it's very Viking heavy and everything out there, and they have the axes. I have never been axe throwing, but I've heard axe throwing is fun. So I'm just like, okay, so the Viking Raiders is there, and then they do some warm-ups, and they're showing them how to throw axes right there at the target. And then Montez Ford and Angel Dawkins come there looking like Run DMC with the black Adidas warm-ups on. And then so Montez tries it, and then he just like throws it clearly into the trees. And then so he says, now look, Dawkins, I know I threw it into the environment, but you have thrown it into the target. So Dawkins didn't hit it neither. But then now it's time for the competition. 10 axes per team, and then only points that count is the target. So the Viking Raiders, of course, do all their axes right there at the target, and they won. Street Profits did not hit not one target. When they did hit one target at the end, Montez hits the target, and then they celebrate, but just like when they hit the 2 points. But then there's an axe inside of a cop car, and they said, who threw this? Well, we got to see who can throw. So Andrew Dawkins has the axe. He throws it behind his back and then hits the target. So it looks like the Street Profits know how to act Stro in the first place. The whole police segment thing was very stupid and unnecessary because it was them talking about, I don't want to, it's very dangerous out here. You can have act Stro in a whole safe environment, but the only reason they let him go is because Ivar is cute and not Eric. I'm just like, that is pointless. I'm just like, this was all pointless. So we don't know necessarily what's going to happen at next week of how the competition is going to go, but I think at Backlash we get the tag team championship match between these two. So when it comes to main event time, we get Drew McIntyre taking on King Corbin. However, MVP and Bobby Lashley come out, and then he says that Corbin, you retired Kurt Angle, right? So I can go on for 10 minutes about the accomplishments you got. And then he said, Drew, you got the World Heavyweight Championship. There's nothing else need to be said there. But Bobby right here, he's gonna sit here and we're gonna deserve the match. And Bobby was letting Drew McIntyre know that he's coming for that WWE Championship. So him and King Corbin have a match. The match is not bad at all, actually. They kind of actually match up well. Corbin is about to go for the whole Claymore kick, and then he gets deep six for it, and that was a close call. And then afterwards, he goes and tosses Corbin to the outside of the ring, but Corbin does a little slide through underneath the ropes, goes for the clothesline, misses. Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre beats Corbin, and then in McIntyre's way is putting Lashley over. He said, I've been waiting for the real Bobby Lashley to come out for years now. That's the Lashley I want. I want that Lashley. And I said, step into the ring with me. So that's what I think what the match is going to be at Backlash. Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. And of course, Lashley's going to lose. But I do like building up Lashley and have him be this killer like he's supposed to be. But that was Raw. So in my personal opinion, I gave Raw passing grade. I didn't hate Raw this week. It didn't bore me of too much. It had good storyline advancements to certain things. I wonder if Mysterio is going to come back and take on Rollins at Backlash. That would be kind of cool. Or maybe even that would be a great SummerSlam match, in my opinion. Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. But either here or there. I said Raw was passing grade, but what do you guys think? Post in comments down below if you guys think Raw was a passing grade or you think it was a failing grade. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed my review, and hit the subscribe button for more WWE content right here on Nerd Coalition. So once again, this is an insane place to be. Chill, stay in the, and Nerd Coalition is out.